was one of those games. I'm going to be talking about the game, obviously. So if you haven't seen it yet, or you don't want to know what the score is, then you probably want to watch this a bit later on. But it was another tough game. I think it was difficult. We had, I think that we played okay in spurts. I think we had good time. Chelsea started really well, and we had a really good spell. And early on, I thought that Chelsea were really fast paced, came out the blocks really fast, and I think we weathered that. We weathered the first 10 minutes, and then we started to get into the game, and I thought we were doing all right. But then things changed after that. They started to get a bit more into the game again, and it was a good, exciting game. I mean, both teams played fairly well, I think. At least they had a good shot, a really good shot that was saved. So that was a highlight for me. Anderson unfortunately then got injured in the first half, which was a bit of a problem. I was a bit. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen with that. Hopefully he will be okay. Oh, hello there, my part lives. Hello. Um, yeah, so hopefully Anderson will be okay. We'll have to find out what the situation is with him. Um, but yeah, I think we seemed to lack, and one of the things that I've noticed this season, we seemed to lack a bit of, the final ball. I mean, we had a couple of good shots on goal. I mean, we had that good header from Schlupp that was saved as well. So we had a couple of opportunities to score a goal. But apart from that, I didn't see where a goal was going to come from. We weren't constantly creating chances, and I think that when you think, it's similar to the Southampton game. There was Chelsea, really, right for the taking. I mean, the kind of their confidence must have been low coming into this game, and it just turned out in the end that it wasn't like that. But they had a good start, and then first half was a kind of fairly even balance, I would say. Not really anybody creating major chances apart from a couple of shots. But then second half, I think it was a bit more of the same. I think Chelsea were a little bit more on front foot. We were chasing down really well. I think Doucouré played really well. I think we all agree that Doucouré is a fantastic player in the middle there. I'm not convinced that Schlupp's a good partner for him. I kind of said that Hughes would be a good partner for him, but then when he came on later on in the game, I wasn't entirely sure that he was a good partner either. I mean, he did quite a bad foul on Conor Gallagher, which wasn't very good. But it was one of those things where it was um, it was disappointing. I thought that we could have got something out of that game. I thought we could have at least got a draw. But I was disappointed with the way things were going, and the goal itself. It was a corner that was knocked about on the edge of the penalty area. No one closed them down. The cross came in, and although we kind of challenged for the header, we didn't really challenge for it, and it went in from Havertz. And I just think that that's kind of the way our season has been. We've kind of got lost the ball a little bit. Kind of lost our concentration at key moments sometimes, and that's caused them to score a goal, which is really disappointing. I am disappointed to see it. Let's now look at some of the. We had some questions coming before the live stream. Leslie Lewis Walker says, "Do you think this will turn into a relegation fight for Palace, or do you think we will be safe? Are you worried a little?" Um, I'm worried a little bit, only because we've got some very tough games coming up. We've got Manchester United on Wednesday, um, and then we've got Newcastle, and then we've got Man United again, and then we've got Brighton. So although a few of those are home games, which I'm more confident that we will be better at home, I'm a little bit concerned, mainly because I think that we are maybe starting to lose a little bit of confidence sometimes. We're trying to play the ball well. We're trying to do what I think Patrick Vieira wants us to do, but I'm a little bit concerned that we're not creating enough. I mean, when you think that Mateta and Edouard came on in the second half, and it didn't really look like we were any more likely to score a goal than we were in the first half. And I think, if anything, we missed Ayer a little bit, because he was one of the people who was running around trying to create things, trying to break up the play. And when he went off, I think we almost got a little bit worse. But let me know in the comments what you think about the goal. If you watch the game, let me know what you think as well, because it's one of those things where it's a concern. I think if we don't get any points out of these next four games, then it will be a concern. Hopefully, we need to pick up a couple of points at the very least out of the next couple of games if we're going to be looking at any kind of safety without any worry. It's going to be difficult. Anna says, Rick says, really looking forward to Wednesday. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think Manchester United are flying at the moment. You know, they've really got the bit between their teeth, and it's going to be a very tough game for us to play against Manchester United. I think, you know, they're going to make it very hard for us. It's going to be very difficult for us, I think. Who else? Scuba Doo says James Tompkins is finished. Yeah, I mean, he didn't have a fantastic game. I mean, he was okay, you know, but I think, I mean, we've got too many aging, you know, defenders now. We've got Joel Ward. Klein had an okay day, but wasn't fantastic. And obviously now we've lost Anderson, we're going to need to have one of those players in to replace him. If it's an injury, it's going to keep him out for a game or two. And when you think we've got this game coming up on Wednesday against Manchester United, if he's not fit for that, then I think we're going to be in even more of a pickle. So it's not going to be good. I don't think we're going to have a very good few games. It's going to be hard to watch for the next few games. Let me tell you that it's not going to be easy. Let's have a look. What else have we got going on here? I see us getting sucked into a relegation battle from Morimek. Yeah, I think if we're not careful, we're going to see ourselves in a relegation battle. I mean, we're 12th at the minute, and I think that we've got the players. We've definitely got the players to do better than we're doing. We really have. I mean, last season, I know we bang on about having Conor Gallagher, and Conor Gallagher against Chelsea today, playing for Chelsea, was playing like he did for Palace. He was all over the pitch. He was getting stuck in. He was putting crosses in. He was playing balls through. I mean, he was doing the same kind of role he did for us last season. But, you know, I know we bang on about not having him and stuff like that, but I think, you know, last season we seemed a better, more rounded team than we do this season. This season we just seem to have little spurts of flair and energy where we get forward and create things, but then it doesn't lead to anything. And I think that's the problem, I think, at the moment. Okay, Ricky Down Under. Any reason why Rich is not given a chance? I'm not entirely sure. I got to think maybe Patrick Vieira thinks he's not ready. I mean, I think that from what I've seen of him, Richards hasn't been that bad with what I've seen him play. I think he's done okay. I don't know why he isn't playing. I mean, I thought Ebiowi, when he came in for a couple of times, played all right down that ring. I thought, you know, yes, he made a couple of mistakes, but I think he didn't play that badly either. But yeah, I don't know why he doesn't start either. Luke B, why does Edouard not start? I think what Patrick Vieira is trying to do is he's trying to say, well, you know, we've got Eze, we've got Zaha, and we've got Elise. That should be enough to score a goal, and it should. And, you know, Elise came very close to scoring a goal today. Zaha drifted in and out again. Another one of those games where he popped up now and again, but then he dropped out, and, you know, and I think that's another problem we're having at the moment, that the players that we've got aren't really having such an impact. I mean, Eze played okay, but we know he can play a lot better than that. And I don't know whether it was because Chelsea were just marketing really well, or whether he just couldn't get into the game. I don't know, but it just seemed as though a couple of players were just a little bit out of sorts, a little bit off steam at the moment. And if that's to do with, you know, the fact that we are maybe lethargic, then Wednesday doesn't bode very well either. And it's I'd love to see a bit of a change. I'd love to see Edouard or Matete back in from the start. That would be quite good, I think, just to see how they do. We have to say we have to wait and see, but hopefully we'll be able to pick ourselves up and at least give Manchester United a good try, because I think we need to do that. We need to go out and we need to try and get something out of these games against Man United, Newcastle, Man United again, Brighton. We need to get something out of those games. Let's see what else we've got. Gotta go. Keep up the good work. I'll spread your channel around. Oh, thank you, Mike Osloos. Murray Mech, have we regressed this season? I think in some ways we have. I think I can understand what Vieira's trying to do. I think he's trying to make us a more, a more rounded team, a more adaptable team. I think he's trying to make us a bit more of a worry for other teams, you know, by rotating the front players around the way he does. I think he's trying to make it a little bit more unpredictable and stuff like that. But I don't think this formation that we're in at the moment is working. I think, you know, you've got Doucouré in the middle. Obviously, Schlupp was in there as well. I don't think Schlupp is a good match with Doucouré. You know, I mean, yeah, he comes up with some good things and he almost got a goal today. But I don't think Schlupp's really good enough in that role. I think, I'm not saying Hughes is. I mean, Hughes didn't do particularly better, really, for me. Maybe if he starts from the beginning of the game, it might be different. Maybe if he gets a couple of games under his belt, you know, because he is a good player and he does make some good passes. But I think Doucouré on his own, he needs someone with, you know, that a same type of player, similar type of steel in the middle with him, to just boss that midfield and stop things from happening. I think that's what we need, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that that's going to. I certainly don't in this window. I don't think we're going to get anybody of any significance in this January transfer window, unfortunately. I think we have regressed a little bit. I think when you look at last season, there were times we were playing absolutely fantastic football last season, absolutely amazing. I couldn't believe it. I was fully convinced that we'd have a tough season because of the changes that we had and everything that was new manager and everything like that. And in some ways, it's we're having this season, the season I expected last season. You know, I expected us to miss opportunities and not play particularly well all the time, and miss opportunities and be a bit disjointed. I expected that last season, and we've actually got it this season, which is a bit of a conundrum. But hopefully we can turn it around. But let me know. Do you think we'll be able to turn it around? What are your thoughts? Do you think we're going to be able to get out of this, or do you think it's not good for us? I don't know. Ricky Down Under, still waiting for management to realise the big problem here. We are going to get one or two box strikers. Isn't it clear that that is the main issue? Yeah, I think we need a striker who can actually put the ball in the back of the net. And what Zaha is a great player. He does do. He works really hard. He tries to score goals. He's got goals this season already. But I've always said, and let me know if you agree. I've always said we need a goal poacher. We need. I know we're not going to get Harry Kane, but we need a Harry Kane type of player, a player who can score goals week in, week out. Get us a few opportunities, at least put himself in a position where he's going to look like scoring. Which just doesn't really happen at the moment with Edouard and Mateta. They do score goals, but just not enough, not prolific enough. And I think we need a more prolific striker. I know we've been talking. I did a video about Danny Ings, and I'm not sure how that's going to go. I think I know he's in his 30s, but I think that would be a good stopgap, temporarily, just to get us a few goals and get our momentum going. I think that would be a good stepping stone. I'm not sure how that's going to happen, whether that's on the cards or not, but it would be great to see if we can just get someone. It won't be in January. I don't think it's going to be January. I think it's going to be summer that we're going to get someone in who's going to be a striker for us. But it depends on the type of striker that Patrick Vieira gets. I think we need a striker, mind the old-fashioned strikers, like I don't know, like Andy Johnson, someone like that, or Dougie Friedman. That's the kind of player we need. I know it's an old-fashioned striker, but someone who can just get in there, score goals, get their feet in the way, just do whatever it is. Let's have a look. Ricky Down Under, possibly Hughes. The Courier is a better option. Riedewald is not an option anymore. I've been a bit disappointed with Riedewald when he's been playing recently. I know he hasn't played many games, but I've been a little bit disappointed with him. Hughes and Doucouré, I think they should be given a game together. Hughes came on a bit too late to really do anything today. I think by that time Chelsea had gained a bit of confidence, and I think that they were, just doing really well. But I don't know. I think we're going to have to wait and see what happens in that situation. Possibly, should we try and buy that blonde striker from Man City? That would be nice. That would certainly be nice. And maybe in 20 years' time, or 10, not 20 years, maybe in 10 years' time or 15 years' time, when he's at the end of his career, we might be able to poach him for a season or something like that. It would be nice. It would be nice to get someone like that. I know what I'm saying, that getting a good striker is going to be expensive. It's going to be expensive, and I'm not saying that we should go for the best striker in the world. We're not going to be able to do that, but we need someone who's a bit more prolific than what we've already got. And there are strikers out there more prolific than what we've got in the lower leagues. And I know that's in a lower league, but we need someone who can come in and at least look like he's going to score a goal. That would be good. If we can hopefully do that, it would be good. In terms of the players, I think I say Eze had a kind of okay game. He played all right. I think there were times when he kind of drifted out of the game a little bit. Obviously, he was able to track back. Elise was tracking back. The team worked hard as a team in terms of trying to, close people down, get onto the ball and make stuff happen and things like that. But I think that as the game progressed, you could see Chelsea were getting a little bit more confident. And when the goal went in, I think that just changed it. We had a bit of a spell after that when we were trying to get a goal. But then Chelsea, I think, just got a bit, their confidence grew a little bit. And it happens, and it's happened this season. It's happened with Southampton. We come across these teams who were doing really badly, and they win against us. And I think it just gives them the confidence that spurs them on to do better things after they've beaten us. And I don't know why it happens. I don't know why we don't try and be a bit more, forceful and actually try and force our game on teams like that. I don't know what it is. I mean, we had less possession than they did, which is kind of, I think that's the way it is at the moment with this team. I think we kind of sacrifice possession and then try and go on the break and stuff like that. So I think it's understandable that that's the case. But I think, dare I say it, I think we're kind of playing a little bit like we did under Roy Hodgson. And I'm not saying that we are playing like Roy Hodgson, but when we sit back and we absorb pressure and then we go on the counter and try and break. Last season, I felt we were a bit more on the front foot and we were a bit more decisive and a bit more aggressive in the way that we played. But I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work with that one. Morimek, we should have tried harder to get Nikita last season. Yeah, I think there was a lot of players we should have tried harder to get last season. To be fair, I think there were a couple of players who I think we could have had a chance at. And the names don't come to me at the moment, but yeah, I think there are a couple of players who I thought that would be a good thing. I don't know whether it was just gossip or whether it was never really on the cards. I don't know, but we just didn't. We didn't. We got players in who were good. I mean, we got some good players, but a lot of them aren't playing. Well, a lot of them, you've got, when you think you've got Richards, doesn't really play. You've got Ebiowi, who I know he's young, but I think he would benefit having a start. I think, what can you lose? I mean, just put him on, see what he does. I think the guy didn't play too badly at all. I thought he was all right. We've got Kamani Gordon, who's going out on loan. I think he played well when he was playing in the first team. He's been training with the first team for a couple of years. So I think, why not just throw him in, maybe a second half or something, just put him on, see what he can do. These are the things I think we're going to need to do. We need to take a bit more risk, I think. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves in a bit of a trouble. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. Vicky Down Under, what you guys think? Will Vieira get us out of this? Same tactics, same players, same approach, insisting that this is our basila. I don't know what that means, but anyway, isn't this being stubborn? I think he believes that the team and the tactics will work. I think he genuinely believes that this team and this tactic will work. Whether he sees it in training, whether they in training they playing fantastically well, and they go onto the pitch and they don't transfer it onto the pitch in games, I don't know. I think he wants this system to work. I think he believes this system is going to work, and I think the longer it goes on with us not winning, the more of a worry it's going to be for me, I think. And it depends on, I'm not saying Vieira should go. I'm not saying they should sack him, but we've got 4 very tough games coming up. I wonder how far they'll let Vieira go, or how far Vieira will go before he thinks to himself, well, actually, let's just abandon this and get back to a 4-4-2, get players in there, just go back to basics type of thing. It makes me wonder, because obviously at the beginning of the season you're trying something new, you want it to work, and after the season we had last year, you'd think it will be all right, but it's just not working. Some things just aren't working, and I worry whether we're going to be able to get ourselves out of this hole that we're digging ourselves into, because obviously the more games we're not winning, the more our confidence is going to drop, and that's not going to help us no matter how well we play. If our confidence drops, then that's my main concern, that we're going to lose all of our confidence that we gained over last season. And because sometimes last season we were frightening, we were really frightening, we were playing incredibly well, and I was really shocked. But this season we just, we seem to be trying, but then again we're losing our confidence, and it's a concern for me. It is a concern, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to watch these next few games. I hope that we're going to be doing at least giving a good chance, at least having a good go at it. I don't want us to go to Manchester United. I don't want us to go to Newcastle and just get thumped. I don't want that to happen. I want us to go out and have a good try, because I think that I think we can do it. I've said before, we can beat any team on our day. We really can. We've got the players, and I don't know why it's not happening. There's obviously something not quite clicking, but something needs to happen pretty soon. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves in a pretty difficult situation, I think. Morimek, We don't have Gallagher anymore. That is the difference. He brought energy that the team lacks now. I think you're right. Um, I think you're right. I think we do miss Gallagher, and and it's not Patrick Vieira's fault that he's not here, obviously, but I think we do miss his energy. I think we do miss his determination to make things happen. I think we also miss Kouyaté. I think, as I mentioned it in a previous video, Kouyaté and Doucouré in the middle, I think would be fantastic. I think that would be a great combination. McArthur, we miss him as well. He's been injured. McArthur and Doucouré in the middle would have been fantastic. I think that would have given us a really good foundation for, the wingers to get forward and make things happen. And, if something broke, then, Doucouré and whoever's with him would have been able to mop it up and do something. Doucouré is doing a fantastic job on his own, but Schlupp isn't really, I don't think, helping out as much as I think he should be doing. And so, yeah, I think we miss Gallagher. I think we miss Kouyaté. I think we miss McArthur. I think we miss all of those players. And unfortunately, in terms of Gallagher and McArthur, I don't think we're going to see that. Well, we're not going to see Gallagher. I don't think McArthur's going to make it back into the first team. I think he's probably going to leave at the end of the season. So, from what I'm hearing, I think that his options may be weighing up for what's going to happen to him. It's a shame. It's a shame. Obviously, did no disrelease. Yes, yes. Sorry, yeah, you're right. Kept losing and losing. He wanted to stick with his system. Well, he was gone, and the new guy saved Leeds from going down. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it happened a little bit with Alan Pardew. He had a system that he believed was going to work, didn't work, and ended up getting the sack. So yeah, I think sometimes you've got to hold your hands up and say, this isn't working. We need to change it. I don't know what we need to do, but Murray Mac, do you want two holding midfielders? I would like to have two holding midfielders. I think that I think we would be better with two holding midfielders. I do. I think because Doucouré is playing incredibly well, but when we get too many people forward, he's one against however many trying to come back the other way, and he does do an incredible job. But I think he needs help, and I think we need two holding midfielders. Hughes could do the job. I think if he gets a couple of regular games, I think he'll be good. At the moment, I think that's all we've got. I don't think we've got anyone else in the middle that I think would do as good a job as Hughes. Obviously, as I said, McArthur would have been a good shout. Kosa would have been a good shout. Someone with him in the middle, I think, would have been a fantastic idea. Jet Central, hello. Hey, man. You think Palace will bring in a solid option before January ends? Really feel like we need help. Thanks. I'm not holding out much hope of the January transfer window. I have to be honest with you. I'm not holding out much hope. From what I've heard, and obviously we've heard from Steve Parish, who said that the January transfer window is always a bit of a difficult time, and that they're looking to the summer and things like that. So I think it's going to be the summer. I think that's what's going to happen. I think once they decide what they're going to do with Zaha, or Zaha decides what he's going to do. We've got a number of players who are ending their contracts at the end of the season. Maybe we're pooling our money for another big change at the end of the season, because we're losing. Potentially we could lose a few players, 8 players, I think, from the video I did. I think it's 8 players that are currently near the end of their contract. I think a couple have got extensions, but they might not be given the extensions. Maybe they're thinking, well, at the end of the season we can get rid of a few more players, bring in a couple of others, and see what happens. Have to wait and see. I know Patrick Vieira wants to have competition for places. He wants to have people who are going to be battling for their places, and that's fantastic. That's what you want. But we're also a small club with not a small club, but we're not a Man United. We don't have the funds to be putting out, to be buying first team players to put on our bench. We don't have that kind of financing. We need to have players who we can rely on in an emergency, but we need more than anything, I think we need good first team players as well. We need players who are going to get us out of our current situation. And I know they're looking to the future. I know all of these loan things from the youth team players, they're all looking to build a strong future for the club, and that's fantastic, really fantastic. I really feel excited about the future in terms of our young players, but we still need to deal with now. We need to get things done. We need to get something in place now that's going to save us this season, because I'm not saying we're going to get relegated, but if we do, yeah, we'll get a balloon payment. But is our best strike, if Zaha decides to stay, is Zaha waiting? Is he waiting to see what's going to happen? If he thinks that we're not going to make it this season, maybe he'll leave. I don't know. Maybe he'll think, oh, Palace are going down, I'm not staying. what would happen to Gahey? What would happen to Anderson? You know, would they stay if we went down to the Championship? I'm not sure they would. I think that they would want to go somewhere else. I mean, you know, it's one of those things. If there's a lot of things that could go wrong if we go down. We need, you know, at least for the funding, at least we need to stay in the Premier League. Chelsea spent 108 million on a winger. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And I think it's just something we're not going to be able to do. We're not going to be able to have that kind of financing, especially with John Textor, with all these other clubs he's got now. He's spreading himself quite thin. And I think that, you know, yes, he is a millionaire, but I think, you know, even he's got finite resources. Maybe he's going to splash the cash in the summer and help us get a couple of players in, but I think we're going to have to offload a couple before we get some more in. I don't think we're going to be bringing players in without letting others go. I think that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to let a couple go maybe on a free to reduce the wage bill a bit and then get some more come in. I think that's probably what's going to happen. Ricky Down Under, is it me or Gaeta who's making too many mistakes? He has made a couple of mistakes. He made a couple of howlers the other day, absolute howlers. I mean, I think today he made a couple of very good saves. He made a good save down low, and then he made a good tip over the bar in the second half, I think it was. So, you know, he made some good saves today, and he was positioning was a lot better today. But he has made some mistakes. Yeah, I think he has. I think it was a mistake. I know we've got Johnson, who's technically second. I think it was a mistake for us to get rid of Butland. I think that Butland maybe should have been number 2. I think that now he's gone to Manchester United. I know Man United don't have the option to buy, but I think if he enjoys himself at Man United and Man United like him, I think there's every chance that he will say, well, actually, I want to stay. I don't want to go back to Crystal Palace, you know, and perhaps they may put a bid in for him to sign him permanently if he has a good time there. You know, it looks like he wants, you know, he's relishing the idea. You know, it's difficult to say. You know, I think who do we rely on? I mean, Gaeta is good, you know, in spells. You know, he had a fantastic season last season, not perhaps his best season this season. Maybe they should try Johnson. Maybe Johnson should come in and have a try and see what happens. We have to wait and see. I think you know, Patrick Vieira wants to have competition, but then doesn't change players, which is a bit of a frustration for me. You know, if you know, everybody's a manager at home, aren't they? But I would say, you know, if there's a player that isn't working quite well, bring a young player in to see how it would work out. You know, if you know Luke Plange, for example, I think he had a fantastic pre-season. I thought he played well when he was playing for us, and you know, I think he maybe would have been one to throw in to see if he could have done something for the team. You know, it's one of those things. Murray Mac, whenever I watched Butland, he had howlers. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Butler's better than Gaeta, but I think that at the moment, you know, we need options. I think we need to have competition for every position. If we could have, we're not going to have every position competition because there are certain players who are going to be first on the team sheet. You know, I mean, the way our back four are, Gahey, Anderson, Mitchell, and you know, Gahey, Anderson, and Mitchell, they're the ones that are always going to be on the pitch because they're the best 3 that we've got at the back. Then the other one is either going to be, you know, it's going to be Ward or it's going to be Klein or Tompkins sometimes, you know, or swapping those 2 around or something like that. So, you know, I think that maybe giving Johnson a try might help to focus Gaeta, you know, a bit more, perhaps things like that. I mean, you know, I don't think, I mean, you know, the way that we play now, we're playing a lot back to the goalkeeper. You know, we get the ball, pass it back, pass it forward, pass it back. And I think that creates some problems, certainly in the other game when Gaeta had the ball robbed off him and then they scored. That was just a classic situation of where he wasn't looking who was around him. He was trying to make a pass and he got caught out. And I think that's the risk you run when you're playing that kind of system, when you're constantly playing the ball back to the keeper and forwards and stuff like that. That's what you risk. And there are going to be teams. I knew there was going to be teams that were going to start to pick up on that and start to do things to try and stop that from happening. I mean, it's like the situation where, you know, last season we were playing incredibly well, and then then teams seemed to realise if they pressed us really hard, it kind of stopped our play, and that stifled us a little bit. You know, so I think teams are always adapting to how we play, and I think we need to be able to adapt to the fact that they will know how we play. It's like anything, you know, if you're playing a certain way and a team isn't performing, I think you should probably try to change it. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I think I'm going to leave it there for the moment in terms of the live stream. Thank you for joining me. I've really enjoyed this, actually, this first one. Thank you for all the questions. I've really appreciated it. I hope that you guys let me know what you think about the live stream, whether you want me to continue doing these for the match reactions or not. And also, anybody out there who hasn't watched me before, please subscribe, and that would be fantastic as well. So yeah, I hope that you've all had a good day, and shame the game couldn't be better, but we'll have to wait and see what happens on Wednesday against Manchester United. But thank you for joining me. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.